Hello students, welcome to my channel LP EduTech. If you are new to my channel, please like, share and subscribe. So today we are going to start with the second poem of English subject standard 11 entitled as The Sower. A person who sows the seed in the soil is called the sower. Of course, it's about the farmer. So it's related to the act of sowing. Now in the beginning of poem we have some icebreakers activities. Now what are those? Let us see. Make a list of words related to agriculture. As being in India is an agrarian country, we are very well familiar with the methods of farming. So let us make a list of the words that are related to agriculture. Now what words we can add here? So actually there is a very big list. If we start with the letter A to W, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So many words are created. Let us start with the words related to the A letter. A, that is animal. Animals also related to the agriculture. Animal, then arid area, agrarian, acres. That land is counted in the acre. So B. The letter B, so it has a barn, 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 biofuel, the barren land, botanical garden, so related to the agriculture. Letter C, C first stands for cattle, cultivation, crops we take, and chemicals, these are chemicals, pesticides, that also comes. D letter, that is drought, agriculture face drought, development, domestication, drainage system. E letter E stands for the equipment, erosions, ecology, environment. F farm, fertile, furrow, farmer. G stands for graze, ground, grain, germination. H for harvest, hectare. Husbandry, that is animal husbandry. Narrow. I for irrigation, intercropping, insects. L for labor, livestock, land. M for machinery, manure, material, mulch. So there is big list. R for region, resources. So it carries the big list that you can make it accordingly. Second question, discuss the activities carried out by a farmer. Now what are those activities carried out by the farmer? Number is given to you, that is plowing. Number 1, the farmer begins with the act, that is act of plowing. Then second we have sowing. After plowing we sow the seeds. Then third, we need to nurture it with the use of manure and weeding. So manure and weeding. And fourth, then it comes to the reaping. Okay, these 4 columns are given, so we solve up to the 4th one. Next one, in our country the engineering, teaching and medical fields are much sought after other occupations, though they make a significant contribution to the society. Do not get their due. Understand the questions, that is what in our country the engineering, teaching and medical fields are much sought after other professions, that is occupation, though they make a significant contribution to the society, they do not get their due. Why this importance is not given to these fields? If suppose the farmer is highly unpredictable and economic gains. Number 1, farmer, highly unpredictable economic gain. He get, but it is unpredictable because it depends on the nature. Many hardships he face, therefore it is unpredictable economic gain. Conservancy workers. Now what are those conservancy workers? That means there is no protective clothing. Now here you can add this information. There is no protective clothing for handling wastes, no provision of clean water and soap at dumps for washing, high risk of skin related and respiratory diseases due to the handling of and the exposure of toxic waste. That is what the problem they face. Now conservative workers. Then C, here it comes veterinarian. Okay, veterinarian, that is animal bites. They have to go through such challenges like animal bites, scratches, exposure to the chemicals, exposure to radiations and disease causing pathogens, etc. Number 4 we have sales personnel. Now what are those? D, sales personnel. So what problem they face? The extensive traveling. They have to travel a lot to maintain their profession. Extensive traveling, the long working hours. They have to work long, mostly 12 hours, 8 to 12 hours, sometimes it is 15 hours. Income partly depends on the variables. Then number 5th, that is factory workers. Now what about the factory workers? What to talk about them? They have a low wages, unpredictable working hours, working overtime, health risk and dangerous while handling the heavy machineries. So this is for these questions. Now second, the agriculture is the backbone of Indian economy, right? Being India as an agrarian country, so we can call it agriculture is the backbone of Indian economy. Now fill in the boxes supporting this statement. How do you support this? Complete the following web diagram, and this web diagram is very much important from the vocabulary point of view and even for the exam point of view. So what points you can add here? Number 1 example is given to you. This large part of Indian population is involved in agriculture, therefore it is called agriculture is the backbone, because most of the people, that is a large part of Indian populations, is involved in agriculture. Now in the same way, what are the things you can add here? Number 2, you can go for number 2. Then agriculture makes India self-sufficient in terms of its requirement of food grains, right? So it provides as a backbone to Indian economy in this case. It makes India self-sufficient in terms of its requirement of food grains. Then number 3, it provides employment opportunities to everyone involved in the distribution channel, that is people via whom the food grains reach the common people. Employment opportunities, so many people are working on the farm, so they are getting employments. The related business which are started on the farm, so the people get employment and they just get their livelihood in this sense. And number 4, agriculture generates a revenue from exports. If we are exporting the food grains, if we are exporting our products, so it is the most important income. It generates a revenue from exports as we are selling it to the foreign countries. So good revenue can be achieved through this. In this sense, now our icebreaker activity is over. So let us have an introduction about the poet Victor Hugo. He is a poet, novelist and dramatist of the 19th century. He was the most important of the French romantic writers. Okay, so he belongs to the France and he is the most important part of it. French romantic writers, he belongs to the era, that is period, it's called as French romantic writers. So they have different periods. As if we study in English literature, we also have different periods: romantic periods, Victorian periods, then modern period, postmodern period, and the writers belong to that period. So in French also we have a period of time. So in that particular period, that is French romantic writers, so he belongs to that period, Victor Hugo. He is a poet, novelist and dramatist of 19th century. Though regarded in France as one of the country's greatest poets, he is better known for novel as Notre Dame de Paris, 1831, and Les Miserables. So this is the cover of these one of his novels, that is Les Miserables, which is written in 1862. And let us see the another one, Notre Dame de Paris. He is from France, Victor Hugo. Now this is the masterpiece which is written by this Victor Hugo. Notre Dame de Paris, 1831, and previously we saw the Les Miserables. So this is a masterpiece novel by Victor Hugo. Now this is his other work, that is How to Be a Grandfather. Even the Hunchback of Notre Dame. This is the combined picture of his work. Les Miserables, Nuestra Senora, Paris. And here we have a pic of the Indian poetess, that is Torulata Dutt, a Bengali poet, also known as Toru, wrote in English and French, was born on 4th March 1856 in Kolkata. So she is from Bengal, born on 4th March 1856. She has written the work in English and French language. She is considered to be the first Indian poetess to write verses in English and French. So it is a very most important part, because she is considered as the first Indian poetess to write verses in English and French language as well. She translated dozens of poems and completed a novel before her death at the age of 21. So it is really miserable and regretting thing that we lost such a great poet at the age of 21. She lost her life. Her poems such as Sita, Lotus, and Our Casuarine Tree are well loved. So this is the beautiful poem written by her, that is Torulata Dutt, entitled as Sita. The poem Sower is translation of Victor Hugo's poem Saisons des Semelles, Les Soeurs. So this is the title of the poem, that is what? Saisons des Semelles, Les Soeurs. So this is original poem written by the Victor Hugo, and this poem is later on translated from French to English by Torulata Dutt, who was Indian poetess. It is translated by Toru Dutt from French to English. The Sower is a poem about a farmer who is sowing seeds. He has seen many bad harvests in his life. However, he is so optimistic of having a good harvest every time he tosses a grain. So this is the original poem written in French language, and later on it was translated in English by Torulata Dutt. And this poem is about the farmer who sowing the seeds, and he has seen the many bad harvests in his life. Do you know the life of the farmers is very unpredictable, as it totally depends on the nature. So however, he is so optimistic of having a good harvest every time he tosses the grain. So let us have an introduction with the poem Sower. The poem The Sower is the English translation by Torulata Dutt of the poem Saisons des Semelles, Les Soeurs, written by Victor Hugo. The poem centers on the act of sowing by the farmer who tirelessly sows the seeds, despite having seen many bad harvests. But he is still an optimist who hopes for a good harvest each time he sows the seeds. The poem The Sower is about the dedication and determination of the sower, who persistently strives to sow the seeds in the ground, all the while hoping for a good harvest. So he is very much optimistic, he is very much positive, though he know about the hardships, but being optimistic farmer, he just sows the seeds and continuously, and he strives to sow the seeds in the ground. Now let us look at these lines in the poem. I will be explaining. You can check in your textbook. The sower. Sitting in a porchway cool sunlight, I see dying fast. Sitting in a porchway cool sunlight, I see dying fast. The poet is sitting in on a veranda. Here the meaning of porchway is a veranda. or on a cooling evening. So there is a cool evening and he's sitting in the veranda and he's looking at the sun setting beyond the horizon. So he's quietly watching everything, sitting calmly in the veranda on a cool evening and looking at the sun setting beyond the horizon. That is what? Sunlight I see dying fast. Twilight hastens on to rule. Working hours have well nigh passed. The poet witnesses the twilight that is quickly following the setting of the sun. He says that the working hours are almost over. That is, time to work for a farm is almost over as the sun has set. Shadows run across the lands, but a sower lingers still. Old, in rags, he patient stands, looking on a field a thrill. Now look at the meaning of these lines. As the sun sets, the shadow gets longer, covering the lands, but an old sower can still be seen in the fields. He dressed in a rags that is old clothes he has worn. He is standing patiently, and the poet feels a thrill on seeing the sower still out there in the field. He is still out there in the field. So this is the description of the evening act when everything is over. So it is very much applicable picture, rightly apt. At the sunset, the shadow gets longer, covering the lands, but an old sower can still be seen in the fields. He is dressed in a rags. He is standing patiently, and the poet feels a thrill on seeing the sower still out there in the fields. Next lines. Black and high, his silhouette dominates the furrows deep. Now, the meaning of silhouette is here. It is the shape or outline of someone against the brighter background. So, outline of someone in the brighter background. So, that is the meaning of silhouette. Now, let us understand this. Black and high, his silhouette dominates the furrows deep. Against the soft glow of the twilight, that is evening light, evening sunlight, the sower's forms looks like a silhouette that appears bigger than the deep channel that he has dug to sow the seeds. It is against the soft glow of the twilight. It is against of it. The sower's form looks like a silhouette that appears bigger. That form looks bigger than the deep channel that he has dug to sow the seeds. It is because of the shape of this form, and it is the sun setting scene. So the shadow spreads. So therefore, it looks long and deep one than that he has dug to sow the seeds. Than the deep channel that he has dug to sow the seeds. Now to sow the task is set, soon shall come a time to reap. Now what he says, he is very much positive in this manner. Now to sow the task is set, soon shall come in a time to reap. So right now he has to sow the seeds in the soil, but the harvest season will soon follow, and then the sower shall reap the rewards of his hard work. So what he says, now it is the time to sow the seeds. As the time has set, the task is set here, and very soon he will get the rewards of his hard work. Right? Marches he along the plain, to and fro, and scatters wide. From his hands the precious grain, muse I, as I see him stride. Now this is this evening time. Now right now what he says, now to sow the task is set, soon shall come a time to reap. Right now he has to sow the seeds in the soil, but the harvest season will soon follow, and then the sower shall reap the rewards of his hard work. Marches he along the plain, to and fro, and scatters wide. From his hands the precious grain, muse I as I see him stride. The sower goes back and forth, that means the meaning of to and fro, back and forth, here and there, in the field, is scattering all the seeds all over the ground. See how it is scattering it all over the ground. The poet gazes thoughtfully at the sower taking long steps to walk in the field. The poet is looking calm and patiently. He gazes thoughtfully at the sower taking long steps to walk in the field. That how much effort he has taken, this poet just has been looking at him, and he just doing his work, just going in the field here and there and scattering all the seeds all over the ground. Darkness deepens, fades the light. Now his gestures to mine eyes are august and strange. His height seems to touch the starry skies. As the night set in, all trace of light is gone. So all the traces of light is gone. Now there is total darkness. Night has set. The poet now understands the action of the sower and considers them to be a noble but also strange, because the sower is old and might not be around to reap the benefit of his hard work when it is a time to harvest. The poet just thoughtfully look at him and think about the sower is somewhat strange. Why he says he is strange? Because the sower is old and might not be around to reap the benefits, because he knows that even though he is taking so much hard work, but he is not sure about getting the fruits at the particular time, because it depends on the nature. But what is in the hands of sower, that's to sow the seeds, that's it, and later other things will be seen later. Now he is doing his work, he is very much optimistic and positive, so he does not depend on nature. He just says whatever happens can be seen ahead. Selfless, the selfless determination of the sower makes him a man of a very high standard, for he doesn't sow for himself but for others who might benefit from his hard work. He is doing his work for the other peoples, okay, for the betterment of the world, for the benefits of the people. He is not doing it only for his own. So this elevates his position in his eyes of the poet, making it seem like he is tall enough to touch the starry sky. By doing this work, betterment work for the betterment of the world, his image is heightened, his image is increased in the minds of poet. He feels so much respect for the sowers, and due to this high respect and pride, the image of the sower has touched to the starry skies, the sky which is full of stars. So his image is broadened. So it has touched the starry sky. The poet feels so much honor and so much respect for the sower for its beneficiary work. So here, in this way, our poem ends here. If you really like the explanation and the poems, please like, share and subscribe it. Thanks for watching.